Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast of the California MBA, featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. Before I get to welcoming today's guest, I'd like to thank our 2024 President's Council sponsors. Now, these are companies that provide a tremendous amount of financial support for the California MBA, in large part to support our advocacy efforts on behalf of the real estate finance industry in California. So please join me in thanking this year's President's Council sponsors, and those companies include AmeriHome, Arch MI, CMG Financial, Consolidated Analytics, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support in 2024. And that brings me to welcoming today's guests. It's my pleasure to welcome Erin Wester, who is VP of Product Management at Optimal Blue. Erin, welcome.
Thank you, Susan. Happy to be here.
I always like to get started by just finding out how you got into the mortgage business. So why don't you tell us how you got into the mortgage industry?
Oh, yeah, happy to. I love hearing everyone's origin stories in mortgage, right? Because it seems like, you get in and you can't get out. You're in for life once you get in. No, I started actually fresh out of college. I started in Fintech, originally in the loan origination space. And I worked for an LOS based out of Charleston, South Carolina for a long time. And we were acquired by a company called MortgageBot out of Wisconsin. Stayed in the LOS POS space and worked my way through all different channels, starting in support, which I think is the best way to get to know your customer, especially the mortgage lenders, and how varying a lot of interpretations and use cases can be. Invaluable learning on that side, and then made my way into product management, and have been there ever since.
That's a great path to product management. You're right. It's like talking with the lenders about what their questions were was probably very insightful.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And, finding out the differences between, we were primarily in the wholesale space, and then we expanded into credit unions, whole different ball game. Lots of different user personas we learn along the way, and basically got to reach the bounds of all of the different financial institution types, which gave us a lot of good perspective, because things are very different, and as much as we'd like to see it similarly, rarely works out that way.
Right. Yeah. And moving to a different segment of the market is, you definitely need to understand how those work outside of like independent mortgage bankers, credit unions, depositories, right, the like, believe me. Yeah. So, we're coming off of one of the most challenging years that lenders have had in quite some time, 2023. I'd be interested in hearing what are the top solutions that Optimal Blue is offering lenders so they can be successful in this market.
Yeah, very challenging times. One of the beauties here of Optimal Blue is, the mortgage cycle, or the mortgage life cycle, is typically very cyclical. So we've had some experience and the ups and unfortunately the downs in the market. So that gives us a pretty strong backbone to help not only weather the storm with our customers and our users, but also be a little bit more proactive, because the more times you go through this, the more you learn, the better prepared you are for the future. And we've been there for a few times now. Can't wait for the market to swing back up. It will, and we'll put those positive vibes out there today. But yeah, no, we've done a lot that we find really helps, especially when mortgage rates are doing what they've been doing, is as much competitive insight as possible, giving folks the ability to not only see where they can compete against every basis point available, but also give them quick levers to pull to adjust pricing to be able to remain as competitive as you can in a market like today. So there are some data solutions we have that tell very intricate stories about what's going on in the marketplace, and allow our customers to really filter down to get that true apples to apples comparison, just how competitive they are in a particular county or MSA, and be able to break that down into the different layers of price that eventually make your advertising rates the most competitive as they can be that loan officer compensation, margins, typical concessions, all across the other industry players in that area. We've got a pretty large market footprint that allows us to give those competitive insights that our customers can rely on and make those actionable decisions that just help bring business in.
Very important to be nimble in this market. I mean, to your point, you have to be efficient, nimble, and great customer experience. So it sounds like you guys have got some great solutions for that. Tell us about some of the new integrations that OB has this year.
Oh yeah, so we actually have an integrations department here at Optimal Blue. They live and breathe every day third-party platforms and how Optimal Blue can integrate into those platforms. It's very interesting coming from the LOS space. That's the heart and the lungs of the mortgage process, and everybody plugs into the LOS. PPE world is wildly different. We are a truly integrated solution. We are most valuable to our customers when they can see their pricing within their LOS, within their CRM, within their point of sale. So back in 2017, we implemented this API-first approach that basically said, let's open the doors. We will integrate anywhere and everywhere. So from our customers' perspective, when they say, hey, I want my products and my pricing to be displayed between directly to my consumer or to my loan officers through any of these mechanisms or means, we're able to just flip on a switch and say your pricing's there, and your sole system of record of ensuring the accuracy is in OB. You got one place to manage it, and you can filter it out into whatever platforms you deem appropriate. So I think that's really helped kind of cement our implementation of new integrations. And we've also learned along the way there are very many interpretations around product and pricing depending on the space that the connector is involved in. So we have a pretty rigorous certification process. Once we integrate, we then make sure that our pricing and our products is displayed not only, of course, compliantly and accurately, but also in a manner that would be useful to the end user, be that the consumer or a mortgage professional. So we've got a whole department, but that's all they focus on. They've done this, on the vendor side 70 plus times, and the direct to our customer side, 200 plus times. We got a wealth of knowledge. So we're open to integrate, of course, to anywhere we can. A lot of our focus now has actually been in our broker platform, the Loan Sifter platform here at OB. We've got a lot of different CRMs and LOS integrations that we're releasing there as well. So really excited to kind of continue to expand that market. Also looking heavily on the PPE side, on the lead quoting or the auto quote side, where we're focusing on kind of that widest end of the top part of the funnel. Again, just to bring as many leads in for our customers as possible.
Right. It just this wave of integrations with companies is significant. But to your point, I mean, Optimal Blue is spot on with just having dedicated people finding all experience, the best possible for your lenders and your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Took years to kind of perfect, if you will, and we learn every day, just like I'm sure everybody. But it's been a wonderful ride. We started out with a handful of LOSs. Now we support north of a dozen. We've got lots of different areas on the sales and marketing side, the full-blown loan officer TPO portals, and we're open and willing to integrate with anybody who works with our mutual customers. But yeah, we're very excited, very proud of the network we built. Very honored to be up there working with a lot of the technology partners in this space.
That's going to be integrations is going to be a big part of conversation at our Mortgage Innovators conference coming up here in a few weeks. But it's great to hear about all of the new stuff that OB will be offering to their lenders, their customers this year. So as I was preparing for our conversation today, Erin, I see that you were named one of the most powerful women in Fintech last year by Progress in Lending Association, which was incredible. Congratulations on that honor. I would be interested to know, how did you react when you heard that news?
Oh, honored and extremely humbled. I was very, very grateful to my coworkers who nominated me. Very honored to be up there with a list of very amazing women in the fintech space. But yes, I was speechless, which is rare for me if you know me. So, but it was a very humbling experience. Very grateful.
That's incredible. Congratulations. It's always, everybody works hard, but it is nice to be recognized for your hard work. So clearly you are a leader, and your colleagues recognize that. So congratulations to you on that. Erin,
Thank
Optimal
you.
Blue has been a member of the California MBA for many years. The company's also supported a wide variety of our events and initiatives that we've done, for which we're, very, very grateful. I'd love to have you share with our listeners why Optimal Blue is such a big supporter of the California MBA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, absolutely. So the California MBA, as you guys know, have a very respected reputation serving as an advocate for the lenders in California. And we're proud to have a lot of California customers based out of the state of California and call that state home. So partnering with the CMBA is, a massively critical partnership for us so we can stay really locked in step with those opportunities. You guys hear firsthand what, our customers are looking for, what they're talking about, what's piquing their interest. And that's, of course, extremely important, not only to us as a technology partner, but also to me in product management. So we're making sure we're building and executing and delivering things that matter to our customers. And with advocates like the CMBA, we're able to kind of get that information in mass quantity based on what you're hearing across all the lenders that work with you guys. And of course, not to mention the California MBA Western Secondary. That is a massive event for us. It's a wonderful opportunity to get out into I'm on the East Coast, so I'm make that trek out there to the West Coast. Always happy to do that, and meet with a lot of our customers in person. Those are invaluable conferences and experiences for us because we're able to meet with a large number of customers in 2-3 day time span. So that connectivity between person to person, face to face is invaluable. So we love the Western Secondary for that, giving us that opportunity with our customers.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We're excited to our big move this year to the Terranea in Rancho Palos Verdes. So I will see you in August at Terranea.
Yes, I will see you then.
Erin, thank you so much for being on Connect. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
And thanks to all of you for joining us on today's episode of Connect. To access any of our past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time on Connect.